as at that point, it's, I don't know what is happening, but it just goes. And it's usually after I leave, right from when I was young, it's usually after I leave this stage, then it does on me that, like that day of the launching, I didn't know the hall. Yes, I was shocked when I came out to see that the hall was really, really full. But I didn't really sit down to think about what has happened until after the event at night. I was like, my God, it was actually a very busy day and the hall was full, and I was really encouraged and impressed. So, yes, I'm reserved, but when it has to do with what I have to do, the Spirit just flows. And so it makes it easy for me. It's just that the other side is whether you like it or not, you are bound to open yourself a little bit more, make yourself more accessible, to people. So that's another angle I know I will have to deal with, because it's already happening even online. I have Facebook page, I have a website which I've just closed a bit, now to do some work later on and relaunch it up and reopen it again. And before now, my Facebook page is one that I basically open once in a long while. But I know that now I have to open it more often, because I engage and interact with a lot of people now, and it's only fair that when people come out and encourage you, at some point there should be some feedback, that you give back to these people who encourage you and support you. So yes, that's an angle I know I'll have to work on, be more open and more accessible to others, especially fans online. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. We can't wrap up this interview without talking about the man in your life. Because for you to be able to take this good step, there are so many things that will have happened.
Yes.
A lot of sacrifice, and so we want to know about it.
Yeah. Like I said on the Avon launch, I look back and I say I married my own, and I thank God. Because like in this world, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have a different orientation, different upbringing, different ways of doing things, of reacting to things. And yes, I know for my husband is a quiet person. Like I said, I'm reserved, but he's quiet. He enjoys his space. So doing what I'm doing now is really encroaching on his space. It took a long time for us to get here. It took basically like 15 years for us to get here. So off and on, we discuss it, I chip it in, we back out, we leave it. But when God said it was time, to the glory of God and to my amazement, I just see him saying, well, if you really want to do this, because in the end, he knows I'm always supportive. For me, family comes first, and he knows that there are decisions I have made, putting myself aside and putting the whole family. And I think he got to a point where he said, okay, now I think this lady has to do something for herself. And they said I can go ahead. So that's when this whole thing started in 2014. And the official launch was another issue too, because once that started, we know it's going to be another level, whether we like it or not, And it took a while, but when we discussed, at some point, he just said, look, if this is what you want to do, if it makes you happy, go ahead. It's just that apply wisdom in everything that you do. So yes, so he's okay with it. He's supportive, but at the same time, I have to be sensible in the way I do things, and know that the family space is not encroached in. So yeah, that's all I can say about that.
All right. And we saw your children on the stage with you. That's very good. That's been practicing all year long. So what do you have to tell them?
My children, yeah, my daughter, she's, I think she's I won't say a bit like me. I would say more than I am in terms of this, because she also has that and that talent when it comes to singing. Hers is actually singing, dancing, acting, all of them together. So I see that in her, but and I try to encourage her, because during our days it wasn't really like that. Okay, you were kind of subdued and suppressed and seen as irresponsible if you want to go into that. So I personally didn't get a lot of encouragement, but everything I did under the umbrella of the school, both secondary and the university days. And of course, a few times people used to call my mom, come and see what your daughter is doing in school and all that. So she has a lot of pictures of me doing all these things, but in most cases she wasn't really available to see. Of course she was busy, but then it shows the difference in their era and ours. So for me, I know my daughter has that, and I try to encourage her and support her. But what is more important is education, which I always stress to her, that look, you can do all this alongside. For example, I've gone to school, I've studied as much at least as I want to study for now, and I have my children, I have my teaching career, and I'm still back to my first love. But I can still do whatever I want to do. Even if I'm not in the gospel music industry, I can still work, which I'm still doing. So what I tell her is education is first. So you may have all these, which I try to support you, but do not deviate. Do not completely focus on that, and your performance in school stops. So once you get a first degree, then you can move from there and let God lead you, and will give you parental support. And for my little boy, he just loves to dance. So yes, he just loves to dance, and I just have fun with the kids, dancing and singing, when we can sometimes. So basically, I'll just, like I always tell her, just be the best you can in everything that you do. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. So yeah, that's my message to my children.
Above all, where is God in all? God.
Where
is God?
Is God?
Yeah.
Oh yes, God is number one. If you listen to all my songs, both the first and second album, you will see one thing that is common among all of them. It talks, the songs, they are always talking about God's glory, His goodness, His mercies, His compassion, His grace, His love. And they are also motivational. They inspire people to, no matter what life brings on, to move on. Because you know that there is a God who is higher and bigger than whatever thing that you are going through. And also there are some of the songs that are just about singing praises to God, just thanking Him for who He is. So He's the foundation in which this has started, and every day I give thanks to God, because at times I sit down, and my first offer into the music industry was in 1998, and it was Alliance Française. Years back then, I was in the French music group, and the French lecturer that there were two French lecturers that were in charge of us there. One, Monsieur Ivra and Monsieur Dorian. And one day, one of them called me and said they took the videos, I think maybe the videos or the audios of our rehearsals to Alliance Française, and that they were interested. And it was like, look, you don't have to write the songs, it's just they give you the songs and you sing. So for them, I think they were kind of amazed from what he was telling me way back then, that a Nigerian girl was singing in French and singing it so well, and Yeah, so I told him I was going to think about it, but coincidentally, in 1998, my father died, and of course, I was still not very young, but I was in my early 20s, and for me, and with the kind of upbringing I had, I was thinking, okay, what would I tell my mother? Where do I say I'm going to? So those were the things, and eventually I told the guy, no, this is not possible. And yes, at some point, I had joined a band, in Delta State at some point, and we were like rehearsing. I was about to become a group of a secular band. But God somewhere along the line just had, I give him praise, because somewhere along the line he just did not allow them to work. When I have gotten in and we have started, somewhere along the line somebody will say, no, this girl should not be here. This it's like saying this industry is messed up. I don't want to use the word messed up, but that in that particular case, that was the whole thing, and that was how I didn't get into it. And I look back now and I said it was God, because I asked myself, if I had gone into the secular music world, and if I had started at that young age, my story would have been different. Maybe I would not be who I am today. Maybe I will not be why I am today. Maybe I would not even have the kind of family or kids that I have today. So I would say it is God that has structured and planned all this to be that eventually I'm coming out to do this when my life is set, with my family, strongly behind me, my husband, my kids, my parents, friends, relations, and I just think it's just right. There's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be ashamed about, and you just know you are doing it right. And most of all, I am singing to the glory of God, so which to me crowns it all. That I write my songs and I write to talk about God and to encourage people. So, yeah.
Okay, wrapping this up. We want to do, I don't know, among all your albums, I'm sure you have a favorite. We want to do a solo, one of your favorite track, and let's wrap up with that.
Okay. Do I really have a favorite? I would say I have three favorites, actually. Three, if I must say. None Like You is one of them, from the second album, and You Are My Everything, the one that Darlene featured in. That one is another one. But I'll say the one that I really hold, above, I'll say it's more dear to me compared to this other two, is Esheun, which is Thank You. And it's because of the story behind it. Like I said, I was about going, I actually felt myself going, I was losing my life. And I was, and God just gave me my life back. For days, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror, because I was like a ghost. That was how it was. The thing is, infinite mercies, God just transformed, just turned everything around. And that was how that song just came into my mind. And 6 months after that experience, I had a major surgery, a similar surgery where my father died, because he did a similar surgery, and he did a similar surgery, and he didn't come out of coma. So that's how he died. So it was very difficult for me to do that surgery, because it just kept replaying, at the back of my mind. So yes, so Esheun became so dear to me because of the circumstances. So I would just sing a bit of it. I just wanna keep praising you, oh God. I wanna keep loving you, oh God. Esheun, Baba mi, yeah. You are everything to me. I just wanna say I just wanna keep praising you, oh God. I wanna keep loving you, oh God. Eshel, by me, yeah. You have been so good to me. I just wanna say, Eshel. Thank you.